New report on Russian disinformation prepared for the Senate shows the operation scale and sweep. Now, we told you about this, right? That was the report that said Black Lives Matter was being controlled by Russians, gay people were being controlled by Russians, progressives were being controlled by Russians. Everybody's being controlled by Russians, according to this new report for the Senate. Now, remember, this was the report that Chris Hayes made fun of, right? Because he showed the memes that they were saying that was controlling people. But here's a little bit more from the Washington Post. A report prepared for the Senate that provides the most sweeping analysis yet of Russia's disinformation campaign around the 2016 election found the operation used every major social media platform to deliver words, images, and videos tailored to voters' interests to help elect President Trump, and worked even harder to support him while in office. Man, this is pretty explosive. We've already debunked this, by the way, a couple times already, this stupid report. But I just want to show you how they've covered this report. And, of course, we've told you that you're never going to get the truth about the wars. You're never going to get the truth about what's happening with our foreign policy from the mainstream news. They're always for every war, and they're still pushing this conspiracy theory that Trump is a traitor and Russia controls our country. So off of this report, again, this Senate report, you look at the explosive language, the incendiary language, used every major social media platform. So not only that, but this is from Gray Zone. Never mind that 56% of the Troll Farms pages appeared after the election. Or that 25% of them were seen by no one. Or that their minuscule online presence paled in comparison to the millions of dollars spent on social media by the two major presidential campaigns and their supporters to sway votes. So they never mention that. They don't mention this in the Washington Post. They do. They used every major social media, but they don't tell you any of this other information. And plus, they don't tell you this about Google. So here is Representative Nadler, who called the Russian interference in our election. He called it like Pearl Harbor. Here he is asking the CEO of Google how much money the Russians actually spent on all their Google platforms to try to sway the election. Watch this.
Okay, thank you. Now, according to media reports, Google found evidence that Russian agents spent thousands of dollars to purchase ads on its advertising platforms that span multiple Google products as part of the Russian agents' campaign to interfere in the election 2 years ago. Additionally, Juniper Downs, head of global policy for YouTube, testified in July that YouTube had identified and shut down multiple channels containing thousands of videos associated with the Russian misinformation campaign.
Thousands.
Does Google now know the full extent to which its online platforms were exploited by Russian actors in the election 2 years ago?
Here it comes.
We have, we undertook a very thorough investigation.
Thorough investigation.
And in 2016, we now know that there were two main ad accounts linked to Russia, which advertised on Google for about $4,700 in advertising. We also found other limited.
Wait, total of $4,700?
That's right.
Total of $4,700. So we're just recapping this because we've showed you this before in other reports. But so when you see the Washington Post say used every major and all this stuff, they don't tell you this stuff, and they also don't tell you what I just showed you there. That's when Russiagate conspiracy theorist meets the facts about Russiagate. That's what that is. But it doesn't matter to the mainstream news. But they took that report and they ignored that stuff, that data I just showed you, the data from the CEO from Google, the other data about nobody seeing their pages, half of them not even going up till after the election. And they wrote articles like this: Russians launched pro-Jill Stein social media blitz to help Trump win election. Reports say. Here's another one. Russia even used Pokemon Go to hack the 2016 election. Here's how.
No.
They use Pokemon Go. Here, that's from that goddamn report. Here's another one. Russia operatives were promoting sex toys on Instagram to sow discord. And here's another one. Russian efforts to influence 2016 election targeted African Americans. So African Americans, you can't make up your mind. It was Russians who did it for you. So we already covered all this. And we showed you the crazy over-the-top language that they used in all these reports. Like here's New York Times. They had an extraordinary effort to get extraordinary, $4,700. And here's a Senator Mark Warner running with this report and screaming at the top of his lungs, incredible. These bombshell reports demonstrate just how far Russia went to exploit the fault line. $4,700? $100,000 in Facebook ads, half of which went on after the election. And divide Americans. It's an attempt to undermine and manipulate our democracy. Here's what we've learned. You've learned nothing. You've learned nothing. You learned how to ramp up. And he's exactly what he's accusing Russia doing, he's doing. What is he doing? He's exploiting the fault lines of our society to divide Americans in an attempt to undermine and manipulate our democracy. That's what they're doing. That's what Mark Warner's doing. What he went on to say, Warner said the report should serve as a wake-up call, resulting in some much-needed and long overdue guardrails, i.e. censorship, also known as censorship. That's AKA censorship. The long overdue guardrails on social media, censorship. And who's going to do that censorship? The corporation is going to do it at the direction of the government, which is actually getting its orders from another corporation. So it goes corporation, government, corporation, censorship. Burr, who's another senator talks about the report, he said the reports are proof positive that one of the most important things we can do is increase information sharing between the social media companies who can identify disinformation campaigns and the third-party experts who can analyze third-party experts. So you want to know who so he's saying we need more of the third-party experts who can help. Well, here's one of them. So one of those reports, the two Senate reports, was written by New Knowledge. Here's the COO and co-founder of it, a guy named Ryan Fox. I showed you this before. I'm showing it to you again. I'm getting you up to speed because something happened with these guys over the weekend. I'm going to show you. He's from the NSA. He worked at the NSA European Signet Partner. He worked for the U.S. Joint Special Operations. So he's a government flack spook who is now pushing Russiagate. Here's another guy, Jonathan Morgan, same thing, CEO and co-founder. He advisor to the special advisor to the State Department. So these guys are all spooks. And now they go, oh, we're going to tell you what's really going on with Russia. Why? Why? Oh, because maybe they started this new company and they need some business. Nobody ever tells you or points out that New Knowledge's obvious conflict of interests in whipping up bullshit fears of cyber meddling. It wants to make money off offering a solution. So this company that issued this report, this Senate report, this company called New Knowledge, and here's their COO and CEO, and they're both government spooks. And what are they doing? They're whipping up this Russia hysteria. Why? So they can sell you a solution to it. Here's from their thing. It says, by 2016, we developed the disinformation protection tools. So New Knowledge had developed disinformation protection tools to track disinformation operations in real time. And we're the first organization outside the U.S. intelligence community to identify Russia's campaign to influence the U.S. presidential election. As the information war escalated, we believed it was our responsibility to provide a reliable disinformation solution. Oh, so if there's this disinformation campaign happening that's going to take over our country, these guys are here to save us for a price. But it turns out those two guys are compromised, and they also have a conflict of interest. Of course, those news organizations never tell you that. Never tell you that. They never tell you that $4,700 was spent on all of Google's platforms. They never tell you that only $100,000 was spent on Facebook, half of it after the election. They never tell you any of this stuff. And that's why people don't trust the news media, because they shouldn't when it comes to important stuff like this. Here's their website, New Knowledge, the first disinformation defense solution for leading brands. They're the solution. So there's a big problem. Russia is controlling everything. Don't worry. You give us some money, we'll fix it for you. And who said there was a big Russia problem? We did. And who's going to fix it? We will. For how much? Lots and lots of money. And how do you guys get the media to print this bullshit? It sells papers, baby. They can't wait to print it. The newspapers can't wait to print this stuff. MSNBC can't wait to run this garbage. CNN can't wait to run this garbage. They can't wait. It sells papers. It gets clicks. It gets viewers. But here, Aaron Matei tweeted this out. The CEO of New Knowledge, the guy we just showed you, the U.S. government-aligned firm that published a recent and universally credulously parroted Senate report, Russian social media interference. So they're the ones who created that report on Russian social media. The CEO guy has been suspended from Facebook for running a fake election interference operation. So the guy who's here to save you from Facebook manipulation and from the Russians has been suspended himself for doing that very thing. Here's the article. Facebook suspended 5 accounts, including that of a social media researcher for misleading tactics in Alabama election. Of course, they don't say a leading social media researcher that the Senate based its report on and everybody else parroted and now we look like fucking assholes. No, they don't say any of that. In fact, they write it in a way so you don't even know what they're saying. This guy helped beat Roy Moore dishonestly, so much so that they banned him from Facebook. To accomplish this, the New Knowledge team created a Facebook page aimed at appealing to conservative Alabamians by encouraging them to endorse an obscure patio supply salesman turned write-in candidate named Mac Watson. New Knowledge then sought to manufacture a link between Roy Moore's campaign and the Kremlin.
Oh, my God.
By claiming thousands of his Twitter followers were Russian bots. Mainstream media outlets credulously ran with the narrative, meaning they just repeated it uncritically, insinuating that the Christian theocrat Roy Moore was secretly backed by Russia. Do you remember that? Remember when they were doing that? So, by the way, here it is. Here's Mother Jones. There's David Korn, and he's raising money. They're trying to get them to give us more money so we can fight Russia and Trump and Russia. And right underneath it, here's the bullshit story. Russia propagandists are pushing for Roy Moore to win. We just showed you that they did that. They did that. New Knowledge, that company that's supposed to be saving you from, they're the ones who invented that. They're doing the exact thing they're claiming Russia did.
What happened to David Korn?
So do you follow what they did? So New Knowledge, that organization, created a fake Facebook page and tried to get conservatives to join it and follow it, and they hoped the subterfuge would peel away votes away from Roy Moore. It was precisely the kind of tactic that New Knowledge claims Russia troll farms carry out to sow divisions among the American electorate. That's exactly what they're doing. That's Americans doing it to other Americans in America while pointing the finger at Russia. Who the hell is New Knowledge? Remember I said that the first time we reported this story? I go, who the hell are these guys?
They look really nice, Jimmy. They're always smiling.
They're always smiling. I go, who the hell are these guys? So who the hell is New Knowledge? The cyber meddling firm that says it's protecting us from political meddling online while running Russia false flag influence ops to sway American votes. They were doing the very thing that they were saying Russia was doing. So you just say Russia's everywhere, and then these guys have a job. Then these guys can sell you protection. Who? The guy who just got kicked off Facebook. Here's that guy who got kicked off Facebook, who's the head of New Knowledge Company, who's feeding the Senate and all the news organizations the BS info on Russia. He says, I did not participate in any campaign to influence the public, and any characterization to the contrary misrepresents the research goals, methods, and outcome of the project. You are a goddamn liar. Jonathan. While the impact of the disinformation campaign on the Alabama Senate race may never be quantified, the cynicism behind it is hard to understate. That the people who the Senate are relying on to tell them the truth about Russia interfering through social media in our elections and in our culture are doing the exact thing. Those people. The people who are supposed to be telling us the truth about it are actually the biggest liars. They're the actual criminals. Where have I heard that before? Right here on this goddamn show. That's where you've heard it. A group of Democratic Party operatives, that's who these people are. These people who are running these disinformation campaigns and then blaming it on Russia, they're a group of Democratic Party operatives with close ties to the national security state. They waged a cynical campaign of online deception against the American public while marketing themselves as the guardians against it from foreign interference. Few, if any, Russian hackers could have done as much damage to the already worn fabric of American democracy as they have. Not Russia. Your friend Jonathan Dickface, Jonathan Morgan, that guy's the enemy of America. That guy lied to the American public. That guy tried to manipulate you through social media. That guy lied to you. He lied to the Senate. He lied to every news organization, and he's lying to you right now. But guess what? Rachel Maddow's not going to ever even report this. She's not even going to report this. I wonder if CNN is even going to mention it. This should be the news all day, 24 hours for about 3 weeks. But it's not. It's not even going to get a mention. And people aren't going to have, as people still don't know what the hell's going on in Russiagate. People who watch the news every day just to watch about Russiagate have no idea what's going on in the Russiagate investigation. None. They think the exact opposite of what the reality is. I'm getting kind of sick and tired of debunking this bullshit organization, New Knowledge. I'm getting sick and tired of debunking the New York Times. They're not going to get in trouble for that. The New York Times, the Washington Post, NBC News, no one will get in trouble for that. No one. Because they're lying at the behest of the establishment. But you make one mistake the other way, and they will pillory you and discredit you forever. And that's something. That's how it works, baby. And that's why you're watching this show, because you see through it too.